Beyond the classroom, the illusion of institutional intelligence and the sacred struggle of life. In an age where diplomas are framed as trophies of intellect and institutions are seen as temples of truth, few pause to ask the uncomfortable question, what is real education? For most, the answer seems obvious. Go to school, follow instructions, pass exams, obtain a degree, and you're educated. You're labeled intelligent, successful, and respectable. But peel away this illusion, and you begin to see that what we call education today is often a carefully curated obedience program, one that prizes compliance over curiosity, memorization over meaning, and performance over purpose. The modern schooling system, especially in the post-industrial era, was not built to cultivate thinkers, philosophers, or conscious souls. It was designed, explicitly, to manufacture predictability. Modeled after the Prussian education system, it was intended to train citizens who would be punctual, obedient, and useful to state machinery. Bells dictated time. Uniforms signaled conformity. The teacher was the authority, and questioning that authority was not only frowned upon, it was punished. Over time, children absorbed a silent message. Your worth lies in how well you fit in, not how deeply you understand. Creativity became a nuisance. Imagination was seen as impractical. And children, once naturally curious and brimming with questions, learned to silence their inner voice just to survive the system. By the time these children graduate, many have lost their original fire. The artist has turned into an accountant, the poet into a policy analyst, the dreamer into a desk-bound employee. They may have amassed knowledge, but lost touch with themselves. Society, meanwhile, celebrates them with applause, degrees, and paychecks, but stays silent as their souls slowly degenerate. For the system does not reward inner growth, it rewards external conformity. And yet, despite all this, we still equate intelligence with institutional achievement, never pausing to ask, is a certificate really proof of wisdom? The truth is that real intelligence cannot be measured by paper. A degree can tell you what syllabus someone completed, but it says nothing about their insight, their emotional maturity, their compassion, or their spiritual depth. You can quote philosophers, memorize formulas, and dazzle a crowd with academic jargon, and still be oblivious to the human condition. You can design rocket ships and still destroy your marriage. You can pass a medical exam and still have no empathy for the sick. You can be a professor of ethics and yet abuse power behind closed doors. Because intelligence, in its highest form, is not about accumulation. It is about transformation. It's about the ability to listen deeply, to observe critically, to respond wisely under pressure, to elevate others, not just oneself, and above all, to see through the illusions of this world with a heart anchored in truth. The prophets, sages, and revolutionaries of history rarely had institutional qualifications, but they possessed a quality no university could ever confer: consciousness. The kind of awareness forged not in classrooms, but in the crucibles of life, through heartbreak, rejection, failure, loss, silence, solitude, and deep self-reflection. This brings us to the greatest institution of all, life itself. No classroom, no syllabus, no academic conference can match the depth of wisdom that life offers to the seeker. Life teaches in silence. It tests without warning. It doesn't grade you, it grows you. Every heartbreak you endure teaches you about attachment. Every betrayal exposes your misplaced trust. Every illness humbles your pride. Every loss reminds you of the fleeting nature of this world. And every hardship pushes you to rely not on your intellect, but on your Creator. Failure teaches what success never can. Discomfort reveals your coping mechanisms. Solitude introduces you to your soul. Parenthood teaches sacrifice. Poverty teaches gratitude. And the sting of injustice teaches patience and the hunger for justice. These are not abstract theories, they are lived truths. They are experiential lessons that force you to either evolve or remain broken. Unlike schools, life doesn't give you notes before the test. It gives you the test first, and then, if you're honest, it offers you the insight. Yet we live in a world that glorifies comfort and fears struggle. We want education to be safe, predictable, and painless. But growth never happens in comfort. The seed must crack to become a tree. The muscle must tear to grow stronger, and the soul must be shattered to discover its light. Struggle is not an obstacle to growth. It is the path of growth. Every great transformation begins with a breaking, the breaking of illusions, of pride, of dependence on anything other than God. The schooling system, in contrast, often sterilizes struggle. It reduces life's complexity into exam questions. It presents failure as shameful rather than essential. It praises perfection and punishes mistakes. But real wisdom is born in mistakes. Real maturity comes from breakdowns. Real vision arises after you've lost your way, not while you're following the crowd. Schools train you to chase credentials. Life trains you to seek meaning. And the sooner we recognize this, the sooner we can rescue education from the grip of institutions and return it to its rightful place, inside the soul. One of the most neglected truths in the modern world is that some of the most profound realizations come not from books, but from silence. In a world addicted to noise, distraction, and constant input, it is in stillness that the soul begins to awaken. Reflection cannot be forced into a school timetable. Contemplation cannot be marked with a grade. And self-awareness does not emerge in group projects, it blossoms in solitude. When you sit with your thoughts, face your shadows, and connect deeply with the divine, that is when real learning begins. But schools leave no room for this. From morning to evening, students are bombarded with information. Little space is given to digest that information, much less reflect on it. There's no curriculum for navigating grief or confronting ego or asking who am I and why am I here. Instead, students are taught how to fit into systems, not how to question them. They are taught how to perform in the world, not how to find peace within it. This is why the true graduates of life are rarely the ones with the most awards. They are the ones with the most awareness. The ones who have faced their darkness and emerged with humility. The ones who have cried at night but smiled in the morning. The ones who have lost everything and discovered that God was always enough. These people may never be invited to lecture halls or board meetings, but their presence teaches more than any syllabus. They live with authenticity. They speak with purpose. They listen with depth. They are awake. And yet, society continues to place blind faith in institutional education. We idolize academic achievement. We assume someone is smart because of their title. We ignore the janitor who speaks wisdom and elevate the executive who spreads corruption. This is the price of equating intelligence with credentials. We end up in a world where the educated destroy the planet, while the unlettered preserve their fitra, where the most powerful lack conscience and the most humble hold the secrets of peace. This blind faith comes at a great cost. Parents pressure their children into degrees they don't care about. Young people feel inferior if they fail exams, even if they have pure hearts. Entire societies dismiss the wisdom of elders, artisans, and spiritual guides because they don't speak the language of academia. But education without character is dangerous. Knowledge without humility is toxic. Intelligence without empathy is empty. It is time to redefine what it means to be educated. We must reclaim education from institutions and return it to introspection. To recognize that learning is not about collecting data but transforming the self. That real growth does not come from memorizing facts but from integrating wisdom. That the truest school is life, and the greatest teacher is struggle. Let us teach our children to honor difficulty, to embrace difference, to value silence, and to seek God not just in books, but in every breath. Let us remember that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was unlettered, yet possessed the highest wisdom. That many of history's revolutionaries, poets, and visionaries were shaped not by classrooms, but by crisis. That your worth does not lie in your resume, but in your heart, in your sincerity, in your soul's connection to truth. We are not here to merely pass exams. We are here to awaken, to purify our character, to serve, to see through the illusion, to return to our Creator with a heart that is sound. In the end, life will not ask what grades you earned, but who you became. So let us not confuse education with indoctrination. Let us not confuse a degree with depth. And let us never forget, the greatest diploma is the one that's written not on paper, but on the soul.